Caitlin Clark has been getting beaten down during her short time in the WNBA. First, people doubted her, then once she proved all her doubters wrong, people continued to hate on her, but there has been another moment quite recently that she got the fans' attention, and that had to do with the Fever game against the Connecticut Sun all the way back in June. In this game, the Sun were dominating the Fever in D. Carrington was actually the one to lead the charge in the game, but with about 3.5 minutes left, Carrington was called for a foul that she did not agree with C. Caitlin Clark got the ball off of an inbound pass and decided to make an attempt to drive on her defender, but Carrington was in the way. She got a bump from Carrington and was able to get a call to send her to the line as the Fever were in the bonus. But what Carrington did next shocked everybody. After the play was called dead, Carrington made a motion that was clearly mocking Clark as if she was flopping. In a very obvious and disrespectful way, Clark promptly made the 2 foul shots. But it was not enough to light a fire under the Fever as they entered the house half down by 20 and ended up losing the game by 17 points. Clark only had 10 points and 2 assists, which counted as one of her worst games in her time in the WNBA. As the Fever fell to 310 in the early season, to rub some salt into the wound, the Sun players also talked about Clark in the post-game press conference. When Carrington was asked about Clark and what they did to get ready, for her answer was normal and not disrespectful in any way, that is, until her teammate chimed in. Ty Harris, immediately after Carrington was done, said it's a seatbelt season for Ree. This garnered some social media attention because it was disrespectful and surely a shot at Caitlin, who was still getting her footing in the WNBA. After all, she was only in her 13th pro game. As the season went on, many forgot about this incident because there had been so many others similar to it, but Clark surely did not, because what happened when the Fever went up against the Sun a couple of months later was impressive. The 2 teams had already played 3 times, and the Sun were undefeated through this season series, so that was just another reason for the Fever to have some motivation. Would you like to see crazy moments like these? Well, if you want to win free NBA or WNBA tickets, we're giving you the chance to see stars like Stephen Curry, LeBron James, or Caitlin Clark live in person. Click the link in the description to enter now. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. It's free to enter and it only takes a moment. All right, now back to the video. In attendance at this game was not only Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson, but also Olympic gold medalist and all-time great gymnast Simone Biles to watch Caitlin Clark show off her game. But to start things off, the Sun won the tip-off, and it took a minute for Caitlin Clark to really get going. Finally, after a couple of minutes of struggling to get going, Caitlin Clark made D. Carrington look silly with D. Carrington riding her pretty hard on defense. Clark hit a mean crossover to catch her off guard. With Carrington off balance, Clark had enough room to shoot, and she did, to help the Fever keep the game to just 1 point a few possessions later, while it was not counted as an assist. Clark was able to help a teammate get open when she found a driving Aaliyah Boston open. Boston got the pass, but because there was so much attention on Clark, Lexi Hull was wide open in the corner to hit a 3-pointer to bring the Fever to a 5-point lead. John Carrington was able to score on the next possession after Clark made a lackadaisical pass that was stolen by Marina Ma. The Sun went on a 2-on-1 fast break, and Ma was able to gift Carrington a nice little alley-oop pass for an easy layup, but Caitlin Clark continued to power her way through the Sun defense. She was able to get a dribble handoff from Nalissa Smith, and although she does not show it too often, she showed her strength as she drove hard on D. Carrington to get 2 points to go down a couple of plays later. Both Clark and Carrington were able to show off their playmaking. First, Clark made a rather impressive behind-the-back pass as she was double-teed to her teammate Aaliyah Boston. However, when Boston went up for the shot, it was blocked and turned around to a fast break the other way. Carrington eventually got the ball close to the basket, and with all of the attention on her, she dumped it down to Alyssa Thomas for a wide-open layup. Following this, Clark was able to push the pace to connect with fellow Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell, who was able to catch her defender off guard with a backdoor cut to get wide open, unfortunately for the Fever though. Clark got into some foul trouble and was forced to watch the game from the bench for a little while. Carrington was able to seize the moment and make the most of it as she got a loose ball after a scary fall from Nalissa Smith. She proceeded to go strong to the hoop to get an and one bucket to fall in to give her team a little boost with help of Clark play. Before she was pulled, the Fever were up 3,326 to enter the second quarter. Clark was able to come back into the game though, but it seemed like she was put in a seatbelt that she had in the June game against the Sun. But as it goes, with Clark, it was only a matter of time before she found her rhythm, and that time came when she was able to fire off a pass to Lexi Hull in the wing, who was able to beat the shot clock and hit a tough three-point shot the next possession with the help of a teammate-on-teammate collision that involved Carrington and Alyssa Thomas. Clark was able to pull it from the wing wide open to get herself going from deep one again. Then Clark was able to, on a fast break, find Lexi Hull at the same spot that she had a couple of possessions ago as Hull hit the three to keep the home Fever fans excited. Then she was able to execute a pick and roll too. It's perfection to find Aya Boston for a nice little mid-range shot to give her yet another assist. The last 2.5 minutes of the quarter would involve straight defense and no scoring as the Fever went into the halftime break feeling good with a 5,142 lead. Clark was destroying the Sun and D. Carrington, and with the home crowd backing her, it looked like she was unbeatable. Carrington and the Sun came out of the break with an obvious fire though, and it was obvious that it was going to be a hard-fought game after she was able to get 2 buckets to go early in the quarter. But Clark was able to get back to wowing the Fever fans as she made a full-court pass to a running Kelsey Mitchell on the other end to set her up for a wide-open on fast break layup. Then Clark was able to get her shooting back up and running. Got a mean step back to work to catch Carrington off balance and off guard, and she hit a 3 right over her butt. Carrington had an answer after she hit a 3 from the wing. But what she did next made the Fever fans mad again. After hitting the 3, she ran back on defense while shushing the crowd that had gained excitement after the Clark 3. She should have known that Clark was going to be coming for her though, because she always does. Clark was able to use her unique ability to completely change the pace of a whole game whenever she took advantage of the celebrations of the Sun as she sprinted up the court. Then she hit a behind-the-back dribble and drove on. Carrington getting a tough bucket to fall to show Carrington that she was not going to be able to make the Fever crowd shut up that easily. Then Clark was able to take advantage of a head screen from the Sun that was very poorly executed. She was able to split the 2 defenders and get an open floater to fall to bring the Fever lead to 5 points. Once again, the fourth quarter was going to be crucial as the Fever entered with just a 3-point lead. But after an Alyssa Thomas bucket to tie up the ball game, Clark was able to push the pace and fire a laser to Lexi Hull on the other side of the court, who found herself open for an easy 2 points. But Carrington was doing all that she could to get her team in the game as she blew by Lexi Hull and slid her way up through the defenders to get a left-handed layup to go, and Alyssa Thomas was able to finally give the Sun a slim lead with 2 free throws, but a Lexi Hull to Kelsey Mitchell connection for a 3-pointer shot down the Sun's momentum once again, and a couple of minutes later, with what felt like the game on the line, the ball was in the hands of Caitlin Clark with Veronica Burton on her. Clark had one goal, and that was to take the mismatch and take the ball all the way to the rack with her quick first step. Clark was able to get herself to the basket for a nice 2 points, and the Sun needed a response, and fast. The Sun had the ball down 2 with under a minute left. But Alyssa Thomas could not keep hold of the ball, and after the ball went out off of her, the Fever were in a great spot. D. Carrington was forced to commit a foul on Lexi Hull, who hit both foul shots after a missed D. Carrington 3 on the other end. The game was over, and the Fever were on top 8,482, complete a takedown of one of the toughest teams in the WNBA. For Clark, this meant getting revenge on Carrington for what she did last game, and this meant defending her home court. This game represented the Fever's 9th win in their last 10 home games as well. 9 wins in their last 10 home games. Dee Carrington finished off the game with 19 points, 3 rebounds, and an impressive 6 steals on defense, but she did not hit the shots when it mattered the most, only going 1 for 5 from three-point. Lan Clark also had a high volume of shots, but she hit 3 three-pointers to bring her point total to 19 as well, but the most important thing is that she was able to get it done when the Fever called on her with the game on the line. She also added 5 rebounds and 5 assists to her stat line. Kelsey Mitchell was able to keep her game on a high note to lead the game in scoring with 23 points, which also helped out Clark a lot to help some of the defense keep their attention off of the rookie star. But after the game, Carrington did another thing that was not expected. She took her anger from the game out on the Fever fans on X. She tweeted, "The Indiana Fever have the nastiest fans, and the WU fans clap back at her, and rightfully so, calling her out for losing the game in the first place. They said you taunted and you got smoked, don't be a sore loser, and oh, looks like y'all feelings are hurt, take the L and move on." However, even though these two teams are done playing each other for the regular season, don't expect the drama to end, as we might even see this spicy matchup in the playoffs and in the years to come, all right? That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the episode if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.